Good morning, everybody. Let's get this thing rolling today. I got a little bit right here and then the front to finish up this morning. And then I'm going to get to the other side. What I'm sanding here is basically just that top lip. Man, that rain is like making it muggy. I don't know how people live in places like Seattle, stuff like that, because I'll tell you, I couldn't handle it, that's for sure. I don't think I ever lost anything in the rainforest. I could honestly handle the snow better than I can the rain. The only thing I don't like about the snow is the cold that comes with it. Yeah, that looks good. All right, let's get the facelift right here. Can you see? Yeah, right there. Let's get that, and then we'll slide over to the other side. I'm really hoping to have the top side of both sides buttoned up this morning. I would really like to get off the hand sand and get onto the DA for the big flats. Man, sandpaper could have been just a little bit bigger. I'm using the hard side of this block, keep it nice and flat. I gotta move you on the other side. My weather app just told me rain starting in 10 minutes. It's been raining for a half hour now. All right, I'll be back. Oh man, guys. Here we go again. Remember guys, I'm sanding with 400 grit. I was gonna jump it up to 600, but when I did the hood and the deck lid, I did 400 on them, so I'm gonna keep it the same. Once I'm done with 400, I can go get it cleaned up and painted. It'll be good to go. top of this fender, top of the passenger door, and then I can give my hands a break a little bit. Depending on how they're feeling, I might break off and then come back to it. Tops of the doors don't, the other one didn't seem to take that long. It's just kind of tight quarters in there, you know. All the little curves. How many of you are going to the Springfield swap meet, Cars and Parts swap meet this weekend? Springfield, Ohio. I'll be there Saturday. Gonna meet up with my dad and brother over there. That'll be a good time. I would ride with them, but I've got to run to Dayton first Saturday morning. So I'm just gonna meet up with them over there. Hey, get back on there. Adam said he'll be here in the morning. That was him on the phone. He said he'll be here first thing in the morning. He said probably before my morning briefing. Buddy, you better get up real early if you're here before my morning briefing, because by the time my morning briefing goes live on Instagram, I've already been here a few hours. Hey, if you're watching, do me a favor and smash that like button for me. If you're not yet, hit that subscribe button. It's free, guys. It does not cost a penny to subscribe. But it sure helps the analytics. I gave up on the spray bottle. I'll use it on certain areas, but for the most part, I need some moisture. All right, that was one of the Ford trucks that I got to do. He stopped in, scheduled that. Looks like towards the end of July it'll come in. He uses his truck daily, so it's like that's going to be a weekend job. That's all right. Ironically enough, he stopped in here asking me to do the cab corners on his Ford. We talked about it and stuff like that. Now this has been a month or so ago that he stopped in here, and come to find out, the guy that did hooked up the gas lines in my building, that's his dad. I didn't even know it. That's kind of cool. And the guy that did my gas lines has a Jeep. He's going to be bringing in, not this weekend, but next, for me to do, there's a little knicker there. Do seat belts in it, and something to do with his latches for the door. It's a fiberglass Jeep. I'm not really sure what he's needing on it, but we'll look at that when it comes in. A lot of people ask me to do their vehicles, and sometimes I won't hear from them. I'll forget all about them because it's so long in between the time we discuss something and the time they come in, and yeah. I mean, there's been jobs where I discussed 4 or 5 years before it actually showed up. One of them is Suburb. If you haven't seen that playlist, check it out. SU-BURB. We talked about that truck for several years. or Suburban, I should say. It's not a truck, it's Suburban. Like that Mustang that I went and looked at last week. Not sure when it'll come in or if it'll come in. I go look and tell them my thoughts, and when and if they decide, I'll get it in. I really don't like scheduling vehicles in because it never pans out the way it's planned. So generally, if I look at a vehicle, like yesterday, there was supposed to be a trailer here for me to do a minor repair on. Talked with me for 3 days on it. He didn't show up. I get a lot of that. I don't cut corners, ever. I don't like it. If it ain't done right, it ain't getting done. And some people don't care. They just want it done, whether it's right or not. Nah. I mean, if that's what they want, that's what they want. But I can't bring myself to skimp where it needs taken care of the right way. I think I'm gonna put Adam to work cleaning this thing tomorrow. When you're sanding like this, you know, you spray the edge, then you clear over it, and all that overspray and the clear, and it really eats this paper up. But when you sand it out like this, it shows you the little bitty spots that need taken care of. And the more you block it, the straighter it gets. So it's a good thing. It just And that clear, the edge of clear sucks to sand. Well, I'm gonna go get another piece of sandpaper. I'll be back. I'm back. That didn't take long, did it? I bet it seemed instantaneous to you guys. You know, everybody has their own quirks of how to do a job. What they feel they need to do it the way they want it done. I like watching other people's techniques of how they do stuff. And I like showing my techniques. But no matter how you do it, you should show the results of how you do it. If it turns out good, great, show everybody. If it turns out bad, hey, show everybody, because maybe somebody don't know and they're trying to learn and see you do it one way, and if it don't turn out and they try it and it don't turn out, they're gonna be mad at you. Show what works and what doesn't. If it doesn't work out and you show it, they're going to be like, well, that's good, because I was thinking about doing that. I'm glad he showed that it don't work, you know? We're all in this together. And it doesn't matter your skill level. We're all in it together here. What's the matter, Arnery? I don't know where she disappeared to. She was just sitting on the forklift. All right, now I'll sand that end up there. By the windshield pillar. Can you see? Can you see? Okay. All right, I'm gonna call that good enough. Good enough. Man, she needs somebody to play with. I ought to bring Eddie in here and let her play with him. All right, now to the door. Right after these messages. I know, you're wondering what the messages were. Well, the message was the battery was dead. So I had to change the battery. And I've got like four GoPro chargers. And yesterday, I was using the tall skinny one. And I went to get a battery out of it, and you know how the GoPro's got that little plastic tab, pull tab to pull the battery out. Yeah, when I went to pull it out, it broke that tab off. So I had to use a razor blade to get the battery out of the charger. I'm not sure why, but that charger is really, really stiff. Real tight on the battery. Well, I just went to get another battery out of it. Broke another tab off. So great. I'm gonna pull the battery out of that side, and I'm gonna put a piece of tape over it. Cover it up. If it's gonna break my battery, so I don't want to use it. Now, if this is like the other door, I ain't gonna have to remove all this. I hope. If it's like the other door, it should sand out fairly decent. Without all the removal of it. Dude, that's wild. Where the blue and the black mix. I don't know if that shows up in the camera or not. Tried to get him to do a blue flake in the black. Little late now, Adam. Little late now. Well, honestly, it's never too late, but I don't think you want to go through all that right now. drop down to just the paper in that area now. Hey, we got a text message. It can wait. It can wait for just a minute or two. Second notification that I've got a text message. My phone tells me 2 times. 1 when they text, and 2 a little bit later saying, hey, did you miss that? You got a text message. Then if you don't answer it, it says to heck with you, I ain't telling you. So after the second notification, when I get a chance, I go check it out. All right, now we're gonna use the DA. I'm gonna use Norton Gold. There we go, now it's in the screen. 400 grit on the DA. I'm gonna get the bulk of it, and then I'll come back and hit the edges. You don't want to get too much of the edges with the DA pads because you'll put little grooves in it, but I'm going to try to get the big bulk of the flats. You want to keep your speed decent. You don't want it going too fast. You don't want it going too slow. If you go too slow, you'll put pigtails in there real bad. You don't want that. You want to keep a good, even speed. All right. I just oiled my DA. Way too fast. Yep. There we go. that far. And then I'll come back by hand and do this number. It won't take much. Doing it this way. The DA is basically doing a preliminary sand to speed this side up. Hey, I got another texted message. Imagine that. One thing about my phone, it never stops. Never stops. I guess I could raise this thing up just a little bit. It would help. Yeah, buddy. All right. I'll be right back. Guys, I'm worn out. I was hoping the DA would speed it up enough that I'd have both sides done today. But that didn't happen. I got this side done all the way to the bottom. I'll get this area when I go over it by hand. It shouldn't take much at all to go over it by hand. Once I get the other side this far, then I'll go back over it by hand and get the edges. I don't even know if I'll use a block because the curves. I'll just palm it. Use the fat of my palm. And then I got edges to hit and stuff like that. Ridges. It looks like one more day of sanding. Hopefully, well, I'll get here early in the morning and I'll get busting butt on this side. I still got to bolt the gas door on. Hopefully I can get this side all DA'd out and get both sides hand sanded. And then I got a lot of cleanup to do. It's looking really good though. I'm pretty happy with that. And I got a couple ideas of how to paint this so I can make sure I can get all the way around. I'm gonna try a couple things, but man, that was a lot of sanding today. My hands can sure tell it too. All right, guys. Oh, I don't support brand new cars at all. Oh, excuse me. I don't support a new car at all. I don't understand all the doodads and the technology they're trying to put in this stuff. I mean, I went and looked at a car the other day. I thought, man, that's a cool looking car. I'm not even gonna say what it is, but I went and looked at this car and I thought, man, that's cool. Get inside. Where you at? Where you at? I get inside of this car and I'm looking around, there's buttons everywhere. I mean, you got your heated seats and your air conditioned seats and rear defroster. You got your vibrating seats. You got a button for everything. There was one button I didn't want to touch because I didn't trust it. Yeah, that was the rear wiper. Well, I know this video, according to the hours on the clock here, on my SD card up here in this corner right here, yeah, it shows that I've got quite a bit of time on this card. So I'm gonna go sit down over here and I'm gonna upload it to my phone, get it uploaded to my phone and give my hands a break for a few. I don't know what it is with this thing, man. Let's see if anybody's on. Well, of course, Ryan Hall, more naders. More naders. Well, what's up, JG? You ain't been on all day. Let's hit Nathan's here. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go hit upload onto my phone so I can have my card empty. I'm gonna tinker with this after my hands rest a little bit and see if I can't get something done. Till the next one, have a blessed evening.